And so one of the things that really stood out to me, they said she's the voice of God for you, and that at Daystar, she's God's voice. And so I want you to just, would you say cult is too strong of a word? Would you say Jezebel spirit in operation is too strong? What are your guys' thoughts?
No, not at all. I mean, absolutely the cult-like tendencies to submit and obey against whatever conviction you have. You couldn't have a personal conviction. Suzy and I were both really struggling because in this particular meeting, my mother was trying to get Suzy and I to publicly affirm her marriage to this man who had left his wife of over 30 years, divorced 2 months after my father passed away, and then quickly remarried my mother. So we never had a peace about it. I wrote her a long letter. We had many people in the body of Christ that were warning her to not move forward with this. And so in this meeting...
It's in your court.
I just, like I said...
You submit to my authority or you don't.
Yeah, like whatever I say to read, if I'm not comfortable, then I have to stick with my convictions.
Well, whatever you read, if you don't agree with the viewer's comment, it's not your right to agree or disagree with it. If a viewer has a comment about me or you or anybody else, it's a nice comment, that's a good thing to read it. That's not a bad thing to have anything to do with you. You're reading a viewer comment. That's
I'm representing it. It's a lie.
You're not representing it.
I'm reading it out.
It's not a lie. It's not a lie.
It's a lie if I say something that I don't believe.
It has nothing to do with you.
If I say something, I don't believe it.
Good man.
I'm not going to just read
It has
stuff.
nothing to do with you. It is a viewer comment. It is not a Suzy comment. It is a viewer comment.
I can't go against my convictions in that, and I'm not challenging.
Don't come back then.
Okay.
You're gone.
Okay.
You're fired.
That's
if
right.
you can't read a nice comment about Doug, I don't want you here.
Yeah.
You won't do the green room. You won't do anything.
Okay.
Okay.
What about you, John?
I'm just going to seek the Lord and I'm going to pray. I love you and respect
There's got to
you.
be a heart change, and you see there's not.
Yeah.
No, I definitely...
And I knew if there wasn't a heart change, then nothing would change. Until the heart changes.
Yeah. I think you guys have got yourself in a position to what you are going to down this hill. This is the hill you're going to down. I think that's the choice.
I just said I'm not saying I'm not or I'm yes or no. I'm just saying I'm just going to pray. You'll know if I read a comment or not. Like if I'm going to apply. If I come on and I say I'm not going to read the comment, then you'll know my decision.
No,
So,
that's not what's going to happen.
decision.
No,
So.
that's not what's going to happen. You're not getting back on the set until she knows that you're submitted. It's not a matter of you doing what you want to do when you want to do it. It's a matter of her knowing today that you're submitted to her and that you trust her and you're willing to do what she says. And she may give you longer than that. She may give you till tomorrow or whatever. But all I'm saying is, this is not a religious process of you going home and praying. This is a process, very practical process, of you telling your boss whether you're behind her or not, whether you'll submit to her or not. Now you're spiritualizing all of this, and all of the scriptures behind her, not behind you. She's the authority. She's your mother. Either way. And so, in your next job, if you leave this job and you go to your next job, trust me, whatever boss you have, you're going to disagree with 18 times more than you ever have her. And you're going to have to submit or they're going to fire you again. And so in the real world, because you've lived in a bubble, Daystar is a bubble. It is a wonderful spiritual place to work, and you've lived in a bubble. In the real world, this crap doesn't fly. And you can't defy your boss and get away with it the way you have her. She's been incredibly gracious with you, but it's all over. And so as far as I'm concerned, no response today is the bad response. And I'm not saying that on her behalf, I'm saying on my behalf. If you can't submit today, it is a spirit, and it is going to continue. And it can't continue. It has to be over, Jonathan. Either you submit or you don't. Now, Suzy's saying no. Your wife is saying no.
I didn't say I would not submit. To me, submission is doing the job that is ministry and not having to fake a relationship
You're
with Doug.
telling the boss what your job is. You can't do that.
Faking a relationship with Doug is part of the Daystar job. That's not.
Reading a comment about Doug is part of the job.
I cannot go against my convictions.
No, you listen. You said no. I respect that. But then I look at you, Jonathan, and I say, what about you? Because your wife said no. And you're saying you want to pray about it. There's been a lot of prayer. There's been a lot of conversations. It's time to make a decision.
Well, we just had this meeting today, so I think it's fair to be able to give
No,
you
I
time
think
to
you
process
need to tell me now. You either submit or you don't. You either submit or you don't. I'm not playing the game any longer. I'm not letting you go home and pray about it and think about it. Susie's made her decision. Now you make your decision.
I haven't had, you didn't give me
I'm not giving
any foreknowledge of this meeting of, like I have to make a decision.
She doesn't have to. You always put the burden on her. The burden's on you. You're the employee. She's the employer. The burden's on you. And you have to make a decision.
So off the show or just off vice president, like he's losing his job? Like we have to clarify that.
Oh, submission is for all those things, Susie.
I'm just
It's not
asking.
just for on the show.
You said you might have to take some time off the show before in the meeting, so I'm clarifying that for Jonathan.
I said there are consequences to this kind of rebellion. So I think been through that. So either you say, yes, Mom, I'm submitted to you. I may not agree with you on anything, but I'm submitted to you. Or you say you're not. It's one or the other.
Just give me 24 hours to pray about it. That's all I ask, kindly, so respectfully.
I'm not going to give you 24 hours. You give me an answer now. You either submit it to me.
The all-new GoDaddy Aero helps you get your business online in minutes with the power of AI. With the perfect name,
Or you're not.
I'm submitted to you in every aspect. The only aspect where there is some consternation in my spirit is having to read something that praises your marriage in front of our live, worldwide studio audience. That's the only thing. There's been nothing else that I've been difficult about. I've submitted you. I've been an incredible son. I've been an incredible employee. I haven't had any problems with you or leadership. It's just with this error, this marriage, there's just been
First off, this is a viewer comment, so the fact that you're using that as the catalyst as to why you can't, do that really speaks to a much deeper issue in your heart. That's just an excuse, right?
That's right.
Well, the deeper issue is just feeling unwell in my spirit about the marriage. That's all it is.
Well, then
it's
again,
nothing against
you have
you.
made your opinion an idol because everyone
right.
else disagrees
That's
with
right.
you.
Who's everyone else?
Everyone else just.
Oh, you too, of course, yeah.
Well, there's a lot of others.
There's a
But
lot of
Jonathan,
others, a lot of
you
others.
continue to disrespect me in the sense that I've been doing this since before you were born.